On behalf of Brigadier General Melissa A. Coburn, Commander, 22nd Air Force, I welcome you to the Assumption of Command ceremony, in which Colonel Jeffrey A. Smith will assume command of the 932nd Airlift Wing. I am Major Thomas Brinkman, and I will be your narrator for today's event. We would like now to take a moment to welcome the family member of the official party in our audience today. Please hold your applause until all guests are announced. Colonel Smith's wife, Estella, and his children, Haley, Benjamin, and Hannah. Colonel Smith's brother, Jason. Please join me also in welcoming several other distinguished guests in attendance here today with us. Again, please hold your applause until all the names have been read. St. Clair County Executive Director of Military Affairs, Mrs. Kimberly Huth. Downstate Community Outreach Manager, Office of U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth, Mrs. Robin Crochet, and her husband, Commander David Crochet. Constituent Services Representative, Office of Congregant Mike Bost, Mr. Caleb Bouchon. Major General Samuel Mahaney, United States Air Force retired, and his wife, Chris Mahaney. Brigadier General Darren James, United States Air Force retired. The Command Chief, 22nd Air Force, Chief Master Sergeant Chin Cox. The Deputy Commander, 932nd Airlift Wing, Colonel Rick Chadwick. The Commander, Cyberspace Capabilities Center, Colonel Kevin Kirsch. The Commander, 375th Air Mobility Wing, Colonel John Poole and his wife, Shelley Poole. The Command Chief, 375th Air Mobility Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Sean Andrews. The Deputy Commander, 635th Supply Chain Operations Wing, Colonel Kristen Hips. The Command Chief, 635th Supply Chain Operations Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Nicholas Connor. The Commander, 932nd Medical Group, Colonel Chris Spinelli and his wife, Mrs. Chris Spinelli. The Commander, 932nd Mission Support Group, Colonel Dory Mansur. The Acting Commander, 932nd Operations Group, Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Fuller. The Commander, 126th Air National Guard, Air Refueling Wing, Colonel Nicholas Henschel. The Command Chief, 126th Air National Guard, Air Refueling Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Christina Rizzo. Chairman and President of Ameren of Illinois, Mr. Lenny Singh. Finally, we extend a warm welcome to all friends, military, and civic distinguished visitors who have joined us today. Today's Assumption of Command ceremony is rooted in military history dating back to the 18th century reign of King Frederick the Great of Prussia. During this time, organizational flags were developed with colors and symbols unique to each military unit. The soldiers of the unit would dedicate their loyalty and trust to their commander, symbolized by his flag. When a change of command was to take place, the outgoing commander would pass the flag to the individual assuming command. This gesture was accomplished in front of the unit so all could witness their new leader assuming the dutiful position. This tradition has survived throughout military history. The transfer of the flag from Brigadier General Coburn to Colonel Smith symbolizes the assumption of command at this solemn military ceremony. Officiating today's ceremony is Brigadier General Melissa A. Coburn, Commander, 22nd Air Force Reserve Command. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of ruffles and flourishes and the posting of the colors, the singing of the national anthem, and the invocation. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem performed by Master Sergeant Matheson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Master Sergeant Matheson. Ladies and gentlemen, the invocation by Chaplain Haas.
Good afternoon. If you would like to pray with me, please. Lord God of hosts, we have assembled here today to ask your blessings upon this Assumption of Command ceremony. We invite your blessings and wisdom upon Colonel Jeffrey Smith, who receives the guidon of command as he assumes this important command position. May he always strive to assist every member of the 932nd in growing and developing so that each can be the person that you intended them to be. Be with Colonel Smith, his wife Stella, and their children. Also be with the 932nd Airlift Wing as our dedication to our mission and service to our country is faithfully fulfilled. Hear us this day, O Lord, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Haas. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Brigadier General Melissa A. Coburn, Commander, 22nd Air Force.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? It's good to see you all. Well, I just want to say thank you first for welcoming Chief Master Sergeant Cox and I back to Scott Air Force Base. It's good to be here. I am honored to be back in Illinois with the leaders and the airmen of the 932nd Airlift Wing. I'd like to give a special thanks to Estella and Haley and Ben and Hannah and Jason for joining us today. Mayor Gregory, General Mrs. Mahaney, General James, all of our military distinguished visitors, all our commanders, chiefs, our local congressional and civic leaders who've taken time out of their day today to join us here. We really appreciate you coming out to support Colonel Smith and his family on this very special occasion as we celebrate his assumption of command. I'd also like to take a minute to thank the folks who helped put this ceremony together. There's often a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and not everybody's publicly thanked, but we couldn't do it without all of you, and what an amazing day this is in this amazing hangar with this amazing airplane with us. So thank you. And actually, this isn't in the script. They hate it when I go off script, but can we just give a round of applause for that national anthem? Like, what an amazing performance. All right, well, we're here to talk about Colonel Jeff Smith, Mumbles, as most of you probably know him, quintessential Air Force officer and leader. He's spent more than 20 years working alongside Total Force, Joint Force, coalition partners, and achieved mission success at every point. Your career has taken you from Japan to the Netherlands, many places in between, and your impact on those units with which you've served has been immeasurable and remarkable, and we all appreciate that. Your career has been global, so who better to lead the wing known as the storied Gateway Wing? So let's go back to the beginning. Mumbles, your love of airplanes, which we've talked about a couple times, started from the earliest days that you can remember. Yeah, absolutely. When the opportunity arose, he left to attend Fayetteville State University in North Carolina, and there he was in ROTC, serving as a cadet. Ultimately graduated, got a pilot training slot, and attended pilot training at Columbus Air Force Base. And that was also when we were sending folks to the Navy, so you went to Navy Corpus Christi for the rest of pilot training. Over your amazing flying career, you've amassed more than 2,400 hours in all the models of the C-130. I'm very impressed. E's, H's, and J's, the C-17, the TC-12, the T-44, and the T-37. But aside from flying, he's also done an amazing job at staff. He served 2 joint tours, which in layman's terms, it's a unique opportunity where we send our Air Force officers to gain perspective, to understand multi-service and multinational military activities. And it's a crucial capability for an Air Force officer to learn that at any point, much less in what we're faced today with today's uncertain environment globally. As I mentioned before, your service, your career has spanned the globe. As a young major, you were responsible for planning and leading the 374th Airlift Wing's plans and exercises at Yokota Air Base. No small feat in that very strategic AOR. As a lieutenant colonel, you worked beside NATO partners at the headquarters Joint Force Command in Brunsum, Netherlands, where you led air operations for the International Security Assistance Force, ISAF, as we all know it. And as an 06, you served as the Deputy Command Center Director. We share a little inside secret, being at NORAD Northcom together. We just laughed yesterday at what your assignment was like there, waking up the general officers and flag officers in the middle of the night who literally have to get out of their sleep, be woken up in the middle of the night. They're given about 20 seconds to give Mumbles an answer on whether they need to wake up the rest of the chain of command, i.e. the Secretary of Defense or the President in some cases. So no stress there, Mumbles, but yeah. You also recently served as the 386 Air Expeditionary Wing Director of Ops in Ali Salim, Kuwait, and as a director right here at Headquarters Air Mobility Command in the Safety Office. I would say that your career has expanded the entire globe, and I'm not joking when I say that. In fact, I'm sure Estella can attest to the fact that there are probably some deployments and TDYs in there that actually cover the entire globe. Like many of us here, your career has been very complicated and taken some twists and turns that were certainly unexpected. Ironically, Mumbles' dad grew up here, right here in this very local area, until he joined the military. And he joined the military so he could leave this area. And yet here's Mumbles returning for a second time to plant his roots in this local area that his father left so many years ago. The Air Force truly does have a way of bringing you back home. And Mumbles has told me that that's exactly what he intends to make the 932nd, his home. He's chosen to focus on the people, the mission, and the story of the 932nd. When we were talking in preparation for today, he emphasized several times that the people and their families are hands down what he wants to be his primary focus while he's here. Just as his family has been here to support him through the years, he and they promise to be here for the men and women of the 932nd, hoping to create an environment and a culture where everyone can thrive. Coincidentally, Mumbles just returned very recently from your year in Kuwait, and you were deployed along several of the 932nd members while he was there. He's mentioned several times in the past 6 weeks when we've had conversations how very impressed he was with this wing's commitment to mission. Mumbles also hopes to focus on the story of the 932nd, on being an advocate for all of you. He mentioned that this wing's airmen and your families, just like many across our total force, deal with all kinds of challenges today. Making sacrifices, yet being willing to serve to ensure that the mission's always successful. I know that there is no one, and certainly no family, more conscious of the sacrifice that our airmen and their families make daily. I'm confident that you will use all of your tools and resources to make the mission possible, highlight the operational capabilities of the 932nd, and still simultaneously taking care of the airmen and championing your people. Speaking of family, I would be remiss if I did not mention to Estella and Xavier and Haley and Ben and Hannah. I'm sure you all know this, but your father has made it very publicly known that you are truly the inspiration for what he does on a daily basis. And back in 2000, we were just talking about this because I got married in 2000 as well. Mumbles has told me that he married his best friend, Estella, just a few months after graduation, and that marriage launched them into the only life that they've known together, a life in the Air Force. So for more than 20 years, and this is amazing, 17 assignments, you can do that math, countless TDYs, Estella has been and continues to be the rock for the Smith family. So thank you, Estella, for your service and your devotion to our nation throughout his career. Trust me when I say it is crucial to have a supportive family to be a successful airman, especially in command. And Xavier, Haley, Ben, Hannah, I'm hoping that this assignment brings you some stability for your family. Your dad mentioned that one time you all experienced, this is crazy, 3 different schools in 3 different countries within 1 year. We have to applaud that. That's. I know you really didn't have a choice in the matter, but what a heavy load you've carried. Not many adults, let alone many children, could have powered through what you've had to do to support your father. And you've all done it with dignity and grace, well beyond your years. I've truly enjoyed meeting you today, and I look forward to getting to know your whole family better. So thank you all for your service and your support for your husband and your dad's career. And last but certainly not least, to Jeffrey's father, Jerry. Jerry, he's not here today. I'm assuming he's online. I hope. Okay. He retired from the Air Force after 20 years of service. Thank you, sir, for your service. I'd also like to take the time to thank all of the other friends and family who are online and joining us today for getting Mumbles to where he is at this point in his career. Whether you've raised him, whether you've worked with him or for him, flew with him, or you're just a supportive friend, he wouldn't be here today sitting in that chair if it wasn't for your friendship and your dedication to him and his family. Mumbles, you're a true servant leader, and you are definitely ready to propel the 932nd forward. I'm confident in your leadership, and I know this wing will continue to exemplify its mission to provide unrivaled and mission-ready citizen airmen, anytime and anywhere. My priority for the 22nd Air Force is to be ready now and transform for the future. I will look to you to make sure that happens. I ask a lot because the mission of the Air Force and the Air Force Reserve is very, very important, now more than ever. And General James and I were just having sidebar about that. But with servant leaders like Colonel Smith at the helm, we will continue to provide unbeatable defense capability to our nation when they need it. Thank you, and thank you all for what you do for the Air Force. I look forward to seeing more great things from the 932nd. Let's make this official.
Thank you. Thank you, Brigadier General Coburn.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Department of the Air Force Headquarters, Air Force Reserve Command, Robbins Air Force Base, Georgia. Special Order G001, dated 17 October 2023. Under the provisions of Air Force Instruction 51509, Colonel Jeffrey A. Smith assumes command of the 932nd Airlift Wing, Scott Air Force Base, Illinois, effective 1 October 2023. Signed, Melissa A. Coburn, Brigadier General, United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the new commander of the 932nd Airlift Wing, Colonel Jeffrey A. Smith.
Oh, I got to stretch first. Typically, before I do anything, I just want to, under the pillar of resilience, I just want to say I want to thank my God for this opportunity. Without His grace and mercy in my life, I would not be here. So, that said, traditionally the new person keeps it short. I am absolutely going to try to stick to that. I do have a lot of thank yous, and I have a little bit of script to try and keep me, but I try to speak from the heart so that you guys know that where I'm coming from. So, ma'am, Coburn, thank you. I appreciate you not only taking the time to come do the ceremony, but flying with us, for the trust that you've actually allowed someone like me, and I say that as an active duty person, to lead one of your wings. It's not lost on me. And so my promise to you today is, yes, the 932nd will not just meet the mission that we have today, but we'll be ready for that challenge tomorrow, bar none. Before we dive too deep into the thank yous, I want to say to Cam Roger, thank you, her and her team, for putting on this event. It's no small feat to organize something like this and to actually support the General's visit, so I just want to take an opportunity to just acknowledge that. And Master Sergeant Matheson and Chaplain Haas, and I want to give a shout out to the maintainers also. You guys might not know this, but when we have events, they're the ones who help sustain and maintain this area. They bring in the aircraft, set up, just shout out to my maintainers also. Just thank you all for the energy and time and effort of putting this together. To our honored guests, I know we were able to introduce some of you beforehand. So when I talk to you just for a second, I want to say thank you. You're representing not only your organizations, whether it's congressional staff, senators, the Southwest Illinois Council, all the different representatives that we have, honorary commanders. Your time and relationship with our wing is important. We cannot do our mission without you. So I just want to say I look forward to that continued relationship together and furthering the mission as a collective group. So thank you for that. To my AMC family, also a shout out to my safety team. I see you guys in the back. I just have to say, I really do appreciate AMC welcoming me back after being gone for a couple of years. While I was deployed, when I was coming back, they helped with the family, and even when I came here and was only the director for a little bit, they absolutely welcomed me in. And even though the runway separates us now, you're not separate from my heart. I still love you. So just sending a shout out to you guys. To the family, the guests that are attending, I gotta tell you, I love ceremonies. So sitting through an event like this, I know that the fact that you took the time to come out here and endure listening to me for a period of time, thank you. I look forward to seeing all of you through the receiving line. And so I can look you in the eye and actually tell you how much you mean to me, and that you actually appreciate the time and energy that you have pouring into me, because I need it. But I know there's also a lot that didn't have the opportunity to come here. I got a lot of texts and calls. I'm going to just do a few shout out to those that didn't make it, specifically Shocker, Corey, Marty, all my man crushes for a year deployed, the Chicken Coop, and the commanders from Ali Al Salam. It's one of those that it's tough being away from family, but it's helpful that they made being family out in the desert. So it was amazing. Thanks to those. For our mission partners, and even more specifically, fellow wing commanders, I just got to tell you, it's been awesome. To come here, to know that we each distinctively have different mission sets, challenges. You guys have been phenomenal in welcoming me and supporting our wing. So I just continue to say thank you. And on a personal note, thank you for your friendship, because it's absolutely phenomenal to be able to have tough conversations and be able to walk away and know that you have the one team, one heart fight in you, and that we're doing what we think is best, not only for our airmen, for this installation, but also for the nation as a whole. I really do appreciate you guys. Just kind of flip it through to my command team, and I'm talking to my squadron commanders and their SELs at all levels. You guys have been exceptional. You've welcomed me in. You've helped me learn your mission, your challenges, and there's no easy road ahead. Our challenge of the future, our challenge right now is real. And I'm just gonna say thank you in advance for the time and energy working with me to find the right solution, the right mix, to make sure the mission continues to happen, but we take care of airmen while we're doing it. So thank you to you all. And a special shout out to those who are stuck with me in the front office and my shenanigans. So Rick, Chief, Major Denny, you put up with a lot. You guys are amazing. Thank you for keeping me on track. Hopefully not getting fired. So let me make sure, when I say this, for the 932nd Wing as a whole, okay, I know they're not all here. We're going into our UTA tomorrow. I'll just say I really do appreciate you guys. I'm gonna tell a quick story to the rest of everybody else here. So I've been in the seat for a couple months, and I was having a commander's call. And one of the questions I got asked was, what do I really think about reservists? Like, is there any stigmas? And I started sweating. I mean, this is an open forum. I asked for it, but it was really one of those. It was quite so much so that Chief actually left me, went down and got a seat in the front row. In fact, he might as well just had some popcorn, and was waiting to see what I had to say. And here, only half the wing probably heard it, but I feel it's worth saying right now is, half of it was me as a person. I like to believe that I like to give people a clean slate when I meet them, that they have the opportunity to write their own story in front of me, and we go forward with it like that. But also my brother's here, who was obviously, he's Army reservist, a TR his entire career, and I've seen what he brings and what he brought to the fight. And my last year deployed, I got to work with the total force a lot, and specifically reservists. And what I thought was amazing was it wasn't just what they did in their uniform or the badge that they wore, right? It was what they did in their other life. And I've said that a few times, that multi-capable airman came to life in a deployed location where we had to solve problems, and it wasn't just what we had there, it was what people were willing to just throw forward to try to make things right and attack the mission. It was absolutely amazing. And General Coburn over mentioned it, there's some in this audience right now that I flew combat missions with out there. They were exceptional. You still are exceptional. And they represented the 932nd absolutely well. I had the utmost confidence in you all, and I thank you for allowing me to join the team, to join the family. So I'm going to switch gears for a second. I'm going to talk to the family. Xavier's not here, kiddos in the front. I did the math, actually, almost 5 years, and that's deployed, training for an upgrade, TDYs, that I was gone. Xavier kind of bore the brunt of that. So not quite a quarter of the career, but pretty good amount of time. And through that all, they've been pretty patient and gracious towards me. And I just, in this forum, want to say thank you. I do love you. I know I could do more. I'm sorry. But I do. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. To Estella, you know, we were saying our anniversary is actually here in about 2 weeks, so 23 years together. I have not got a gift yet. I'm sorry. I'm saying this in this forum to hold myself accountable, but I'm also saying it because it's not easy. And she knows this, that there's 23 years and the long term together, there's been a lot of friction and a lot of challenges, and she continues to work with me despite being gone, especially for a year recently. I'm grateful for that, and I love you immensely, so thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Now, normally I would have probably ended with Estella, but my brother's in attendance. So, my dude. I've told you a few times, I already told you that he was a reservist his entire career. I stop and emphasize on him for a second because I won't even be in the Air Force. I definitely want to be a colonel. I definitely want to be a pilot because, this man poured into me as a young person, and he was trying to do reserves. He was trying to go to school. He was trying to work a full-time job. And as he was going through the goods and the bads, he would coach me up. He would tell me what he learned that was good and bad. And I thank you for it, because when it came to going to college, he's the one who pushed me. He said, "Hey, just go ahead." I had no way to make it, no funds, and he was just like, "Dude, we'll figure it out." And I miraculously made it. So thank you. I'm going to just say that in this forum. But now I'm going to embarrass him because I love you, absolutely love you. So my brother, if I have to say this, he's probably the quintessential reservist. If I could bottle up what it is to be a reservist, or if there was a definition, it would be him, because he's a silent warrior. He's that Swiss Army knife that just comes in, does its job, and leaves. That would get a late invitation to, I don't know, an assumption of command ceremony, and finish a week of work, jump in a car, drive 13 hours, come hang out, and then jump in a car tomorrow and drive back home, and then work a week, which is amazing still when I think about it, and it's going into some of these UTAs. So it's one of those that he never even, when he finished his reserve time, he didn't even have a retirement ceremony or do anything, because he's like, "Hey, my time's done, and I'm just going to sun right off into the sunset." And I've had conversations with a few of you about that, where it's not just about you and everything. So he gave me my first salute. I'm actually going to come down and give you your retired last salute in my coin. And you can't say no because there's a bunch of people around here, so. I did not plan that. I just felt conviction this morning, and I thank you for that. I love you. So, my priorities are very simple. I just laid them out in our UTA flyer, but I just got to tell you, operational execution is a must with me. We have to be able to go out and do the fight tonight if asked. Whether it's going and helping with Afghan refugees, whether it's going to aid of another country, whether it's to go out and do the mission that we were doc statemented for, it doesn't matter. I absolutely desire for us to be mission ready. And that means this piece of metal over here, it's a beautiful aircraft, but to me it's just a piece of metal. If I don't have you guys properly trained, if I'm not making sure that you guys are not developing into the best airmen you could be, if we are not properly resourced and can't do and are not communicating that risk to our leadership, that's on me. So in order for this to happen, I need the maintainers turning the wrenches, making sure it's up to standards and airworthy. I need to make sure that the runways and that these facilities can support the things that we need to do. I need to have defenders securing the flight line. I need to make sure that my people are medically capable of going out the door, and more than anything, I need to make sure that that crew can jump in that plane and do what we ask them to do. So I thank you in advance. I'm gonna ask a lot. I am, but I know that you all are more than capable. I have the utmost confidence, because I say this at every forum, and this is my last thing, and I'm bringing it to a close, but this is personal to me. It's very personal because I have less days in front of me than I do behind. My career is almost over. I even joke and say, I could have been in the airlines right now as a qualified pilot, but I have conviction to be here, to be with you, and to serve. Point blank. That is why I'm here today. And as long as I'm in, I care about us being mission ready. Because when I walk away, when I take this uniform off, and I've said it before, but now you can look them in the eye, but my children are sitting here. One's talking to a recruiter tomorrow, Army, we need to work on that. One of them, he's a defender at heart, and he's probably going to join. I am going to be, some of you who are just airmen right now, you will be supervisors, you'll be sergeants, you'll be captains. I'm going to hand you my kids, potentially for this next fight. So I take it very personally. I desire for us to do our best, put our best foot forward. Not everything's going to go perfect, but I know in my heart that I can hand you my family, and we are going to get after whatever threats out there, and bar none. So I'll just end on that. So thank you. Appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you all here shortly.
Thank you, Colonel Smith. At this time, we will present a bouquet of flowers to Mrs. Smith on behalf of our wing members. Mrs. Smith, welcome to the wing. Ladies and gentlemen, the men and the women of the 932nd Airlift Wing are pleased to welcome Colonel Smith as the new commander, and we invite everyone to join us for a receiving line and reception honoring Colonel Smith and his family located in the middle of the hangar following the ceremony. Additionally, you are invited to tour the C-40C, which is open for viewing. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Air Force song and remain standing for the departure of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Thank you for attending and have a pleasant day.